Welcome to Ready Set RC, and today we have the Sen Racing F450 doing the final thought review on this truck. This is a 1/10 scale, hard to say because it's not a crawler, it's not an on-road truck, it's not an off-road truck. It's kind of whatever you want to make it. For you guys that are new to the channel, up until this point, we've made a few videos already on this truck. So we've done an unboxing, we've done a video on the brushless conversion, the performance of the truck with the low speed gear in there. We've done another run with the high speed gear and running it on brushless. Just so that you guys are aware, we purchased this truck directly from Hobby Recreations. They are a distributor for Sen Racing RC. This vehicle has not been run brushed at all. I didn't think it was needed, didn't think it was necessary for what we were planning to do on this truck. So we've only ran this truck in the brushless setup. And I've gone through in those videos exactly what's been done, what parts we're using. And if you guys who are new to the channel want to know, please go back to those videos. It's in a playlist, the same one that this video is included in today. But for you guys who are familiar with the format, we're going to do the final thoughts on this truck. We're going to talk about electronics, drivetrain, handling and suspension, durability, workability, support. Then we'll get into the opinionated part of the discussion. Is it worth it? And would I buy it again? Electronics, this truck, we went ahead and we changed it all up initially before even putting the first pack in this. So this is the controller that you get with it. It's extremely basic. I'm not a big fan of it. I've used this type of controller in the past. The steering is very springy, as you guys can see here. It's just extremely basic, and I think I'm past this at this point. So I never ran the truck with this controller, with the stock receiver on there. As for the ESC and the motor, we swapped out electronic. We went to brushless. We went ahead, we put in a Castle Creations ESC and motor in here. It's in the upgrade video. So I can't speak on the stock electronics, the brushed motor and the brushed ESC. Never wanted to run it in here. I went straight to brushless. Going into brushless, it performs so smooth. The speeds that I get on this was excellent. I think I was able to get this thing up to 34 miles per hour. Nothing crazy, but I don't think I needed to be. I think that's what I was looking for, was to kind of push that 30 mile per hour, possibly if I can get it to 40, and that's kind of where I want to stop. You know, I'm not looking for this to do 80 miles per hour down in the parking lot. I just want to be able to rip this around. Eventually, I'd like to get the back to whip out on me and kind of really get it out and pushing on some loose dirt. The servo on this, surprising enough, I've had some bad experiences with Sen Racing servos, meaning they're just not fast enough, just not strong enough. This, excellent. No issues whatsoever on the servo. Performed well, guys. I mean, it was quick enough for this truck. It moved those wheels around, and these wheels are fairly light. Moved them around, and it was excellent, guys. It really did perform well on this truck. So I gotta say, for the servo on this, you won't have to swap it out at first. I mean, for you guys who are servo snobs, I will admit I'm one of them, but I didn't see the sense in swapping it out for this truck and how it performs. Drivetrain. So in regards to the front axles, the rear axles, the center transmission on this, putting the brushless power, it handles it, guys. This thing just screams down the asphalt on it, and it handles it well. I mean, I was pushing 3S packs in this, and this thing, no issues. No brakes in the front, no brakes in the rear, center transmission's holding up, dog bones throughout holding up. Everything has been going good. Really enjoy what this truck is capable of doing throwing a 3S pack in it. Handling and suspension. Not really much to say here, guys. This thing comes with sway bars in the front and rear. If you're gonna run this off-road, meaning to do some crawling, you're gonna wanna remove the sway bars in the front and rear to give you a little bit more travel. As I said, I don't plan on doing that. Gonna keep this a parking lot basher. It hugs, guys. I was surprised how well this thing just sits on the road. It was not rolling over. I was making turns on throttle. This thing performs well. Now, I wouldn't sit there and go full throttle on it and try to take turns. It is going to roll over because it doesn't have the widest track width on there. But I can tell you guys, this thing will handle well. This thing will take turns on throttle with no issues. Just don't gun it. I mean, you got to have some kind of throttle control, but if you are just taking it half throttle, quarter throttle on turn, it will not roll over on you. What I did notice is that, and that's more so to do with my setup that's in here, brakes were super strong. So I got to dial that back on this truck, but the brakes were super strong on it. Outside of that though, suspension handled well. Handling was excellent on this truck. As I said before, in regards to the servo, it performs well. It takes the turns. It performs quick enough for this truck. Durability. For me, it's on-road. There's nothing much to touch here on durability, guys. Broke nothing, damaged nothing. This truck has been holding up well. Did but one rollover, and yeah, it's an on-road car. You're not going to really get that much damage on it. Workability. Here I will say, guys, if you're not familiar with working with a crawler, maybe it'll be a little bit more difficult with you because you're going to have to play around with the multiple dog bones and all those sitting and fitting in properly. And then swapping over from the low gear to the high gear gets a little funky, but if you're used to working on crawlers, it comes in very easily. Or if you're used to working on your RCs, it comes in very easily. Now for a novice out there, you know, for something that'll probably take 30 minutes for a guy who's been doing on their crawlers, it may take you a couple hours. Support. At the time of this video, I have not had to reach out to Sen or to Hobby Recreations on this truck at all. Yes, Sen is one of the smaller companies out there. It's a little bit harder to get a hold of them, but in my past, I've never had to reach out to Sen directly. I've always worked with Hobby Recreations. That's because that's where I've always bought my Sen racing vehicles from, and for the most part, they jump on it when you reach out to them. So, you know, just to give you an example, when I was having the leaky shocks with my Sen Colossus XT, which is now the Reaper, reached out to them and they sent the parts over for me to fix the problem. Very easy, no charge. And that was when I first bought that truck. So I don't have a problem when it's time to reach out to Hobby Recreations and them jumping on it. As long as the parts availability is there for them, they'll honor it and they'll take care of you. So for me, that's where I go for my Sen Racing trucks. Now we get into the opinionated parts of the discussion. Is it worth it, and would I buy it again? So is it worth it? This truck is ranging from $360, and I've seen it as high as $390 for it. It's a very versatile truck. The scale details is by far some of the best I've ever seen. The wheels that you see on this truck, the tires, everything is so scale on this truck. Now, the thing about this truck, and this is probably the hardest part of it, is what is it? It's not a crawler because the clearance isn't there. The travel's, look at that, travel's minimum. It's not a pavement basher because it comes brushed. I couldn't really tell you how quick the brush setup is, but can't be that much. And for how it performs, it's not your typical track width for a speed run car, and it has, you know, it has solid axles in the front and the rear, which is not what you would think of for a speed run car. So there's a lot of things going on here where you're going to have to make it your own. And for the is it worth it part, all depends on where you are in the hobby. Now, if you're trying to make this your first RC, I'm going to stop you there. This should not be your first RC. This should not. If you're looking for this to be, you know, kind of that 8th, 9th, 10th RC in your collection, you got a basher, you got an on-road car, you got maybe a monster truck, a truggy, a buggy, maybe a crawler in there, and you're looking for something just a little bit unique, this is it. This is exactly what you want. There's not quite a niche for it. It's kind of, you take the platform and then you do what you want to it. I've seen guys convert this into a crawler and even a tow truck. I've kind of created into an on-road basher. I've seen guys turn these into speed runs and hitting 50 miles per hour plus with them. There's a lot of different things you can do with this platform. But for the price of it, I think it's worth it, guys. I mean, especially if you're looking at it as you're a multiple vehicle owner and you're looking for something that's a little bit different. 360 to 390 price range, yeah, it's worth it. And the way it looks, I don't think you're gonna find a truck more scale looking than this. Now, would I buy it again? No question about it. For me, I am. I love this truck. I love just even taking it down from the shelf and looking at it. Now, I don't have shelf queens here. I just got a lot of trucks that I just like to grab and run whenever I can. But for me, this is not a shelf queen. I'm just gonna keep it as an on-road basher. If I can find some more areas I can run it with loose dirt, not really so much the baseball fields, but real dirt, I'm gonna take this out and run this again and enjoy this some more. I think for the pavement, I'm gonna keep running it like that. It's fun. I just wanna do a little bit more than just going up and down with it. I wanna really take it out and enjoy it, kind of get that back open and swinging and get this thing moving and traveling. That's what I want to do with this truck. But we're gonna leave it here, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram for our latest post to the channel. This is Ready Set RC, signing out. Thanks again, guys.